So, my stepdad committed triple homicide. 2 of those murders were premeditated. The 3rd was an accident. But because the other 2 were premeditated, he still got charged with 3 counts of premeditated murder. He turned himself in, so there was no whodunit trial. His trial was just about whether he deserved to be put to death or not. I was a key character witness and was supposed to convince the jury that he didn't deserve to be put to death, which meant I had to prepare for the trial. I've never prepared for a capital punishment trial. I don't recommend it. He was in jail for 5 years before he went to trial. For 5 years, we begged for a plea deal. The prosecution refused. I see crime scene photos. I listened to 911 calls. I'm prepared for the trial. 3 days before the trial, in the 11th hour, the prosecution comes through and offers him a plea deal. So thankful that I got ready for the trial, for them to give him a plea deal in the end anyway. Before he committed triple homicide, my stepdad had never even had so much as a traffic violation. So my mom and my stepdad were married for 7 years, and then they decided they just didn't want to be married anymore, so they divorced. But my stepdad is still a huge part of our lives. About a year after my mom and his divorce, he meets someone new, and they start dating, and then they move in together. I'm not exactly sure how long they were together in total, but they lived together for like more than 5 years. She had 5 kids, and he helped take care of all 5 of them, the same as he helped take care of me. So his mother thinks that they're going to be together for a long time. So when she retires, she moves from Washington, D.C., and she moves across the street from him into a house in South Carolina. Well, they didn't stay together. So when his mother retires, she moves in across the street from where he lives with his girlfriend. For a few years, things are good. One day, his girlfriend says, I want you to move out. I don't want to be with you anymore. My stepdad, since it's just out of the blue, thinks it's temporary, something's wrong, so he just moves in with his mother. He doesn't even take all his stuff from the house. The literal next day, she moves another man in. And this is where my stepdad starts to go a little crazy. So he tries to go talk to her and ask her, like, hey, what's going on? And she calls the police on him. So he doesn't try to talk to her anymore, but he sees the kids waiting to get on the bus, and he tries to talk to them and ask them how they are. He was in their lives for a long time, so he just wants to check on them. So she sees him trying to talk to the kids at the bus stop, and she calls the police on him again. There's a restraining order. Luckily, the house was far enough away that it didn't violate, so he could still continue to live with his mother. But he can still see everything she does from his house. So this man starts to sit in his car and watch her through the rearview mirror. So he's really upset, and he's starting to become a little stalkerish. So my mother notices, and she says, hey, come stay with us. And he says, no, I can't leave my mom. Which is partly true. She was starting to get really old and really sick, and that's why she moved close to him anyway. And we lived over an hour away in North Carolina. So he's going crazy, and his mother notices. So she offers to pay for him to go somewhere else. Again, he's worried about her, so he doesn't. She gets him a dog, which is probably not a good idea. He starts walking the dog, but he decides to walk it behind her house. Again, not violating the restraining order, but also stalking her pretty much still. But there was a wooded area behind her house, so she couldn't see him. I think at one point his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend says some really stupid shit to him outside and threatens him. So my stepdad asks his drug-dealing nephew to get him a gun. And his nephew, who's a drug dealer, got him a gun with the serial number scraped off. And my stepdad continues to go on walks with the dog in the woods behind her house, but now with a gun. Then he irrationally makes the decision that he's going to kill the boyfriend so he can get his girlfriend back. So he walks the dog one night. They're home. They're sitting at their kitchen table. He can see them through the window. He goes up and he's watching them through the window. And then he sees that she's really into him, and he, in his words, said that he could see her flirting with him. And so this enrages him, and that's when he decides to kill them both. Fires one shot at the boyfriend. It is believed that that shot missed. Then in his words, he kind of draws a blank and just starts firing. At some point, he sees his ex-girlfriend fall out of her chair, and that's when he takes off running. He gets rid of the gun, he throws it into a river, he burns his clothes, and he showers. No one reports the gunfire that night, so the bodies aren't found until the next day. And this is the saddest part. They were discovered by his ex-girlfriend's 2 other children that were in the house. They ran to their grandparents' house, and their mom's brother calls 911. It's all over the news, in my county, because my county, it's only an hour away. This is also when we find out that it was his girlfriend, her boyfriend, and her daughter that were killed.